Hi, I'm Andrea Deer with the Whole Kit and Caboodle. Today's question is a special interest question versus a technique and comes from Karen in Fishers, Indiana. Karen asks, where do you get your recipes? Are they family recipes? To answer this, let's head to the kitchen. To talk about the recipe series, we have to go back all the way to 2005. My grandma Hancock was an amazing cook, and I was always so inspired watching her in the kitchen. Even as a little girl, she'd have me snap the green beans or help roll the dough for chicken and noodles. That was back in the days when grandmas would spend 2 and 3 days getting ready for a single meal. That Christmas, back in 2005, I made my grandma a scrapbooking version of a lunchbox that I gave to her, and inside was a series of blank recipe cards, and I asked her to take the time to handwrite all of her recipes. Not only did I want to treasure them, I knew one day I would be able to take this idea and inspire others to do something similar. Fast forward all the way to September of 2020. We were in the heart of COVID and everyone was locked down, staying at home and cooking. And I thought this was a perfect time to start our recipe series. So with the help of my son-in-law, Nick, we launched a video that was a spoof off of Ree Drummond's Pioneer Woman. Check out a few little clips here. Welcome to our kitchen, scrappers. I'm sure you're wondering why we're in the kitchen for a scrapbook event. Well, the purpose is twofold.
When you have friends and family over, where does everyone seem to gather? The kitchen, right? Since we're all friends, we thought this was the perfect place to start our meeting.
Made predominantly of My Colors cardstock, you are going to love the vibrant page designs and 8x8 coordinating album. This introductory package comes complete with the 8x8 album, including the 5x5 cover window design and 7 scrapbooked category divider pages. These pages are made from a combination of the Canvas, Dot, and Glimmer collections. Our recipes over the year have come from a lot of my family favorites, from ones of me and my children when they were young, to ones all the way back from when my grandma was young and making food for her growing family. I also use magazines like Cook's Magazines or Food Network, and like a lot of you, I get a lot of the ideas off Pinterest. I also get them from you. So we have a Facebook group called Scrapbooking Recipes. We have people who will drop their recipes in there. They'll also send me an email like Lindy did here. You just never know when it's going to spark some creativity, and I'm going to convert that recipe into a beautiful scrapbook page. There are a few things that we take into consideration when creating our scrapbooking recipe pages. The first thing is the length of the recipe. Our goal is always to have it fit on a single page so that we can still have our scrapbooking decorative elements for that 8x8 page. There are times that the recipe is a little bit longer, and in that instance, we'll create this little booklet so that we can get that entire recipe in, but still get in our scrapbooking decorative elements. It also depends on what supplies we have on hand and what supplies can get in. Now, just because we are creating a recipe that calls for olives doesn't mean that our scrapbooking paper has to have olives on it, but of course we want it to coordinate. We want to beautifully combine those two hobbies of scrapbooking and cooking. We also, so that you are able to incorporate your own personal recipes, and so that the design will flow seamlessly throughout your recipe album, we have developed what we call these general recipe pages. So if you look at the top there, these pages come with just the lines so that you can write your recipes on here, yet this decorative element at the top will help that recipe flow, album flow all the way through. If you see here, I have a couple examples of how I've incorporated my own scrapbooking recipes using those titles. So I have scanned a recipe here, and that was one of my handwritten ones from Grandma. And I always try to include a photo of either the food item or the person whose recipe that this came from on that little page. Here's another one to show you a little bit different aspect of that. Same thing, it's that same sweets border. Our family is huge on sweets. And this one came from my other grandma. So we have a little photo of her, and again with her handwritten recipe. If you would still like to incorporate some photos, but not necessarily a recipe, here's what I did for our Disney Delight recipe series. So I've taken our little page here and just used it as a scrapbooking page. So there's no recipe here, but these are photos of us when we went to Disney, and these are some of our fun food photos that I wanted to include in our Disney recipe album. Even if you're not the family chef, this series makes a great gift for so many possibilities. It can be for a graduation gift from either high school or college. It could be for that new bride or groom at the wedding or at the shower. It's also a great gift to give to the kids and grandkids to pass on some of those family recipes so that it can be maintained from generation to generation. Another fun idea with this series is get together a group of you and meet perhaps once a month. You get together and you put together the recipe pages, and then the next time each of you take one of the recipes, create that particular food item, and have a little bit of a smorgasbord of food from the recipes themselves. It's a great way, just a fun little something different than just the scrapbooking group itself. I hope these tips have helped a little. Keep those questions coming, and as always, happy scrapping.